Thank you for joining us. A federal judge has put a temporary stay on a directive from the Trump administration that would pause potentially trillions of dollars in federal aid for organizations and local governments across the country. A memo sent Monday night from the White House Office of Management and Budget directed federal agencies to, quote, temporarily pause all activities related to obligation or disbursement of all federal financial assistance. In her first official briefing, White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt said the order will not impact people receiving individual aid like food stamps or Social Security. She said the goal is to keep federal spending in line with President Trump's executive orders and priorities.
The American people gave President Trump an overwhelming mandate on November 5th, and he's just trying to ensure that the tax money going out the door in this very bankrupt city actually aligns with the will and the priorities of the American people.
CBS News White House reporter Olivia Rinaldi joins me now. So, Olivia, now that there is a stay on this order, what should we expect from this legal battle?
That's right, Lindsay. Just moments before this order was set to take place at 5 p.m. today, a federal judge issued this stay. Now, this stay means that there is no action that can be taken on freezing this federal funds until Monday. The next steps in this will be the DOJ, Trump's Department of Justice. They have until Thursday at 5 p.m. To respond to this stay, and then we hear from the plaintiffs on Friday at 5 p.m. their response. And now all eyes will be on this hearing, which is set to take place on Monday at 11 a.m. Now, that hearing will take place between Trump's Department of Justice, but also some of the nonprofits who have filed against this freeze on federal funding, arguing that they are allotted to these funds given to them by Congress, saying that they should have access to them. So we'll be watching Monday to see what actually happens with this case, as there are a lot of legal challenges to it so far.
If it survives legal challenges, do we have any understanding yet of who or what this order will impact the most?
Well, that was the big question today, right? Everyone from the federal government to state governments scrambling to figure out who exactly this impacts. Karoline Leavitt in the briefing today saying that it won't impact things like Medicaid, Social Security, school lunches, programs of that sort. But we did see some states saying today that they were having trouble accessing the Medicaid websites. We had that confirmed from several states across the country, including Illinois and Maryland. Now, the White House said that that is happening, but says that it's unrelated to this executive memo that was signed. So we're trying to get greater clarity on what exactly this will impact. But Karoline also saying today that the goal of this essentially was to impact those, quote, pet projects that Trump says are not in line with his executive orders and his priorities. And therefore, that is what they're trying to really shrink or get out of federal government with this order.
President Trump signed an executive order late Monday night that says expressing, quote, gender identity divergent from an individual's sex cannot satisfy the rigorous standards necessary for military service. Is this order setting the stage for a potential ban on transgender people serving in the military?
It could potentially do that. We know that that's something Trump did within the first administration back in 2017. He banned transgender persons from serving in the military. But what this will do, certainly, is impact the composition of the military. It's giving a review of readiness for people who are transgender and are serving, and whether or not them undergoing certain procedures will impact their readiness and their abilities to carry out their duties. We know that the transgender ban on serving in the military was reversed under President Biden. And it's actually something that President Trump, when he was running, said that he would be opening to reinstating. So if he were to re-implement that, it would be making good on a campaign promise he made in this third run for the presidency.
What do we know about the president offering buyouts to federal workers who don't want to return to the office?
Yeah, this just coming in. Also, a memo sent out by the White House today offering people who work in the federal government but who have not come back into work because they've been working remotely until February 6th to accept a buyout. Essentially, this is part of Trump's effort to really chop down the size of the federal government, something he's very keen on doing. If they don't want to return to federal office through September 30th, they have until February 6th to take that buyout. And sources tell our Jennifer Jacobs and Nancy Cordes that they expect about 10% of the federal government to take these buyouts. That's a pretty significant number.
Is it take the buyout or get fired, or we don't know that yet?
We don't know that yet, but it is certainly an offering on the table right now of the doors open if you want to take it.
Olivia Rinaldi, thank you. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are reacting to the Trump administration's attempt to pause some federal funding.
77 million Americans elected President Trump to be a game changer and to figure out where we're wasting money. So all he's asking to do is to pause some of this money that's being spent.
This is cruelty. This is lawlessness. This is a heist done on a national scale. No matter how much he may believe he does, the president does not have the authority to ignore the law.
CBS News congressional correspondent Nikole Killion joins me now from Capitol Hill. So Senator Schumer said Democrats will do everything in their power to fight this order that's now been ordered to stay by a judge. On what grounds can they fight this? What would that look like?
Well, I think politically speaking, what Senate Democrats have called for is putting a pause on Russ Vought's nomination. Of course, he is President Trump's pick for the Office of Management and Budget Director for the White House. And, of course, he's gone through his confirmation hearings, but he was scheduled for a confirmation vote this coming Thursday out of the Senate Budget Committee. So the Senate Democrats are appealing to their Republican colleagues to put that nomination on hold until this funding issue could get resolved. But right now, it's unclear whether or not Senate Republicans are willing to do that, particularly those on the Budget Committee. Furthermore, many of them, as you heard there from Senator Marshall, are saying, look, this is just a temporary pause. This isn't, halting funding full stop, that the president has a right to review some of this. So there is some pushback from some Republicans who are siding with the president on this. So long as Senate Republicans continue to go along with the president's directives, again, there may not be that will to slow down Vought's nomination. That being said, Senate Democrats also are expecting maybe further legal action. Of course, we saw some state attorney generals also take legal action today on this. And then we also know over on the House side, House Democrats are holding an emergency meeting tomorrow to discuss the implications of this new freeze.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s confirmation hearings for Health Secretary are set for Wednesday and Thursday. His cousin, Caroline Kennedy, sent a letter to Congress Tuesday calling him a predator. What else did she say? And are you hearing anything about whether this could hurt his chances of being confirmed?
Well, again, we'll have to see. Obviously, she had some pretty strong words about her cousin. She also said that she believes that he is unqualified to serve in this potential position as health secretary, overseeing a number of federal health agencies. So that being said, whether or not her letter carries a lot of weight with the senators remains to be seen. Certainly, we have seen some Senate Republicans push back against RFK Jr.'s views, for instance, around the issue of vaccines. He had a pretty robust discussion a couple weeks back, for instance, with Senator Cassidy, who is a doctor who had some concerns about RF Kennedy Jr.'s positions around vaccines. But that's just certainly one of many questions RFK Jr. is likely to face. And keep in mind, he has not only one confirmation hearing, but two, starting with Senate Finance on Wednesday, followed by the Senate Health Committee on Thursday. So there will be a number of tough questions he's going to have to face tomorrow, but he still, by and large, was seen in the halls of Congress earlier today. And while he didn't comment to our cameras, he overall, when we have seen him in the halls, has expressed confidence about his prospects going forward.
Nikole Killion on Capitol Hill, thank you.